Hi guys, welcome to the Hungry Sizzle. Today we're going for a Christmassy vibe. Gonna make a Christmas turkey burger. It's coming up to Christmas, so I thought I'd get into the spirit by making one of these. Everyone loves a burger. So we've got some pork mince. We also have some turkey mince. Gone for like a low fat one, just to keep them as lean as possible. So we're adding kind of a few things here and there. So we want to try and keep like it as healthy as we can. Because we've also got some bacon. We've got some nice beechwood streaky bacon, which would be nice to go nice and crispy, go over the top of the burger. We also have some brioche burger buns. I mean, you can get regular buns obviously, but I like these because they've got like a nice shine to the top. They look a bit posh and they taste great. Also, to go on top of the burger to keep it nice and fresh, we've got some rocket that will provide the kind of peppery kind of taste. It'll be nice. We've got a bunch of things here to season the burger with. Obviously you've got your salt and pepper, got some cranberry jelly. I like to use a bit of sage, I think it goes really well with these kind of white meats. And I'm also going to use a lovely Wensleydale and cranberry cheese that will go on top very nicely. And also, yeah, we've got some sweet potatoes here that I'm going to cut up and oven roast and use them for wedges. I'm going to use that with a bit of olive oil and some rosemary. So this is basically the ingredients. So the next step is to prepare everything and get cracking on with the cooking. Right, so before we start the burgers, I'm going to prepare the sweet potato for the chips, and then I'm going to like peel them, chop them up, and then I think I've got the oven on at 200 degrees at the moment, fan oven. And then we're going to stick them in, and then we can start on the burger. So I'm just going to peel it now and then just cut them up into chunks. So you want to make sure when you're cutting the potato itself, you want to make sure you're using a sharp knife firstly, and you're holding it right, and you keep your fingers away. But also when you're chopping a vegetable or piece of fruit or whatever, you want to cut it so you're cutting it on a flat surface. So you can see here it's a flat surface. So it just basically prevents it from like rolling around, and you don't want to injure yourself. And it makes it a lot easier. So make sure you're cutting it on a flat surface, and then just slice right down the centre. And basically, I won't bore you with it, but I'm trying to cut them up into these like thick, they look like carrots, but these thick chunks because sweet potato cooks quite quickly, and you want like a substantial chip, so there we go. The sweet potato chips are all cut up nicely. So right now I'm going to go into the garden, get some rosemary, get some fresh rosemary, and then I'm going to use that and a bit of olive oil, season it a little bit, and then we'll stick them in the oven. Right, so we've given the rosemary a quick wash, so I'm just going to finely slice it and then we'll stick it on the potato. So once we've put the rosemary in, I'm just going to put some olive oil over the potatoes, and then we're going to give it a good old scrunch. Give it a nice little massage. Best just to use your hands, really. Right, so now they're all dressed. I actually didn't use any salt and pepper because I want to keep the sweet potato taste great as they are. So just a little bit of olive oil and some rosemary will do just fine. So I'm going to stick them in the oven for about half an hour, 200 degrees, and just keep an eye on them. And right now I'm going to crack on with the old burger mix. All right. Some chopped onions here, so I'm just going to sweat these off for a little bit, for about between 5 and 10 minutes. Not burn or anything, I just want to sweat them, and then we'll stick that into the burger mix. Right, so right now I've got some sage that I'm just going to finely chop, and then we're going to add that to the pork and the turkey mince, and then we're going to, once the onions are done, we're going to add the onions, and then we're going to start seasoning. So I've since cut my finger while I'm cutting up this sage. It's not too bad. I've actually managed to cut through the nail, so it's not too pleasant actually. But I'm cracking on. So maybe we should do an episode on safe knife skills. So we've just sweated off the onions with the olive oil. So that's all done now. So before we add the onions to the mixture, we want to cool them off using like a baking tray that I've put in the freezer, and then that way when the onions go into the mixture, it doesn't cook the meat. So adding the onions, now they're cooled on that baking tray that we put in the freezer. So stick the onions in. This is the sage that I chopped before. Right, and then put some salt. I'll put exactly how much salt you need in the ingredients bit, but I kind of know how much salt I want to put in. Right, there we go. Okay, well we don't need that. And that's just broken, so good. So we haven't got a pepper grinder, but I do have some black pepper, so this is actually quite good because I can actually see how much I'm using. So I'm going to go for maybe like half a teaspoon of black pepper. So we'll stick that in, and then we'll also want to use some of this cranberry jelly. So we'll get this. And we want a good, I'd say a good, I reckon that's probably about a tablespoon to be fair. Stick that in. I just disappeared down the side. And also we want to stick a little bit of mustard in, a little bit of English mustard, but I can't do that because the spoon won't fit. It actually won't fit into the jar. So I'm actually going to use the handle. Oh dear. See, I'm not very professional, as you can see. That's about a teaspoon. So we'll stick that in. Right, so now this is the stage where you use both hands and you really get into it, but obviously I've just cut my fingers, so I can't use both hands. So I'm going to have to use just the one hand. So we'll see how we get on. This is weirdly satisfying.
As Sai has injured his fingers, I'm going to have to come round to the front of the camera and crack an egg for the poor injured soul. Okay, where are the eggs?
In the fridge.
Funny that. Okay.
Just need one.
Eggs? One egg.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hi guys. Right. So just one, straight in.
Yeah.
What are these, frozen eggs?
Bloody hell, isn't it that hard?
Oh.
There we go.
There we go.
Nice one. Good work.
No shell in that, baby.
That was a tough old shell, wasn't it? Right, so now the egg's in, we just continue with the mixture. So we've mixed the egg into the mixture with everything else. So I'm going to cut up a red onion, and we're going to use this with balsamic vinegar. We're going to reduce it, and this is going to be like a caramelized kind of like onion, almost like a kind of like fried onions, but well, it is fried onions, but with balsamic. Right, so you want to grab a decent sized pan, because we want to cook a couple of burgers, I think. And so I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in and get it on a relatively high heat, probably like a medium heat actually. And then I'm going to start making the patties and I'm going to stick them in there. So right now I've browned all the red onions, so I'm just going to stick some balsamic vinegar in it. Just a good splash, not too much. Give it a little mix like that. And then we'll just kind of cook that vinegar away a little bit. So right now I'm just making the patties. I reckon that's a decent size. And then we'll just stick that into the pan, like so. This is really hard to do with an injured fingertip. Really hard. I really want to use my hands, but I've got to keep my little finger out of it. So I'll try and make these patties the best I can. And then we'll stick that one there. I want to make sure that get all that lovely olive oil there. So we then just leave that for the next like 5 minutes or so, 4 to 5 minutes, just keeping check, because it's not beef and it's pork and it's turkey, so it's a white meat, so you want to make sure they're thoroughly cooked. I've already put a little bit in it. Basically cooked the burgers thoroughly. They took a little longer than I thought actually, because like I said, we're using a white meat, we want to make sure they're cooked thoroughly. It's not like beef where you can have it like a little raw. So what I did, I put it in a pan, and to be honest, if I was to do it again, I'll probably start them off in the pan and then finish them off them in the oven. So now, burgers are cooked. I've just put a lid on top just to keep them warm and just to rust them through. So now I'm going to, half the brioche buns, going to give them a little toast, and then everything else is ready. So I'm then going to dress the burger and then we're good to go. Now they're out of the oven, we're going to stick them into the baps, onto the baps, and then we just dress it with the bacon, which we've got here. Go. And then I'm going to put a bit of this red currant jelly onto one side of the bat. Looks a little bit like jam actually, to be fair. And then we've got some of these caramelised onions that we're just gonna stick on the top, like so. And there, nearly there actually. I'm gonna stick it on the rocket, if we can actually put any more on. And then I'm going to stick the back there like so. Right, it's all done. Mission complete. So the proof is in the pudding, or the burger in this case. So let's give it a go. I can't actually eat it because of my finger. That is a good burger. Hope that was easy to follow, so give that a go at home. And yeah, write down in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Look forward to seeing it.